Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. Alright, so I've decided on who is going to be part of the team for 2008 and 2009, so let's take a look at that here real quick. So no surprise in net, it's still going to be Brian Elliott and Ryan Miller. And then on D, there's maybe one surprise. Matt Unwick is going to be playing alongside Shara Mizzaros, Niedermeyer, Volchenkov, Streit, and Surrey. Up front, we're going to have Pavel Datsyuk, Avlat, Chris Kelly, Brooks Like, Mike Fisher, Sam Gagner, Joe Thornton, Matt Stajan, Ryan Callahan, Mariano Ossa, Patrick Eves, Nick Foligno, Jason Spezza, and Alexander Radulov. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a pretty solid lineup again. Maybe a couple surprises there. Sam Gagner might be a weak to play. He's only 19 and everything, but he did have a decent camp, or preseason. So we're going to go ahead and see what he has to bring, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started here with home and home against the Pittsburgh Penguins to start this season. So it's not going to start easy. Alright, that's fine. Alright, so I don't have a lot of room on my roster for players, but if there's somebody that I absolutely cannot pass, I'm going to go ahead and get him. No, I think we're good. Alright, so the NHL season preview. So the season's about to get underway. The early Stanley Cup favorites appear to be Ottawa, led by goalie Ryan Miller. General manager Jesse Bonhomme has built a squad that will be the team to beat this year, but they can expect challenges from Bob Gainey's Montreal Canadiens and Nashville, featuring goalie Pekka Rinne. Among the dark horses, Detroit stands out as a possible challenger with a big season by Henrik Zetterberg, capable of pushing them into contender status. The scoring race will likely see Pittsburgh's Sidney Crosby challenged by Pittsburgh's Jaromir Jagr and Ottawa's Pavel Datsyuk. The top defenseman in the league is generally considered to be Florida Panthers blue liner Jay Bouwmeester, with Montreal's Andrei Markov and Duncan Keith of Chicago also in the running. Finally, among goaltenders, Ottawa's Ryan Miller stands out as the league's best, while New York Islanders netminder Roberto Luongo and Carey Price of Montreal can also steal games for their teams. So that's the people and teams that are expected to be pretty good, and we've seen our name in there quite a bit. Matt Unwick would like to have number 2. There you go. I just made Matt Unwick happy. Alright, so Jason Spezza is not ready to start the season after all, so he's gonna miss at least the first game against Pittsburgh there. Alright, so the season is officially going to be underway. Now let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ooh, they have a few injuries. So Sergei Varlamov is hurt. He's not going to play. Evgeny Malkin is still hurt. He's not going to play. And Patrick Sharp is also hurt and not going to play. So there's a few pretty good players there that are not going to be in the lineup. So that might help us. And Jochen Hecht is going to be suspended. Now in net, of course, it's Marc-Andre Fleury and then Josh Harding. And then on D, they have Christian Heroff, Gully Goski, Sandis Ozolinsh, Curtis Crashtons, Brooks Orpik, Garrett Stafford, Jeff Finger, and Barrett Jackman. And then on Forward, it's Jagger, Bergenheim, Eloranta, Morozov, Daniel Carcillo, Sidney Crosby, Dawson Jeffrey. That's Travis Morin, I think. Yes. Jordan Stahl, Jochen Esch, Trent Hunter. Yeah, Trent Hunter, Tyler Kennedy, and Ryan Malone. Alright, so a few really good players, and then some. Alright, so this is the lineup we're gonna have. So we don't really have a real good second line center anymore. Basically, we have what the Sens had back then. We have Mike Fisher, which, I mean, Mike Fisher was a good player and everything, but I don't know that he was necessarily a great second line center. I guess he was maybe an okay second line center. Alright, and of course, with Jason Spezza hurt, we have our lines looking like they are looking right now. And we have Scott Niedermayer playing on the second line. Okay. Or the second duo. Alright, so Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. We are going to Brian Elliott. Really? Is it going to be another one of those seasons where Brian Elliott is the starter instead of Ryan Miller? I guess we're about to find out. Alright, so go Sens go. We are about to start the season. And we start with a 4-2 win against Pittsburgh. We did outshoot Pittsburgh 38-25 in that one. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 1 assist. Jeff Finger was the second star with 2 goals, and Anton Volchenkov was the third star with 2 assists. We had 18,299 people in attendance for that game, and Zdeno Chara opened up the scoring in the first period. It was a short-handed goal scored by Brooks Laich and Anton Volchenkov, 1-0 after 1. Then in the second period, Pittsburgh tied the game, and then Joe Thornton scored from Anton Volchenkov, and then Jeff Finger scored. Actually, that was the second goal, and he tied the game at 2. After 2. And then in the third period, Joe Thornton scored his second goal of the game on the power play from Mark Streit and Alexander Radulov, and then Mike Fisher from Marian Hossa and Joe Thornton, 4-2 the final score. Alright, Jaromir Jagr's point streak ended at 15 games. We stopped Jagr in there, but Crosby did get an assist, so his streak extends to 16 games. And Jochen Esch is back from suspension, so he gets to play tomorrow against us in Pittsburgh. Alright, suspension for Tim Jackman of New York. He's going to miss 4 games. Great night for Vincent Lecavalier, who had 3 goals and an assist in that same game against the Rangers. Alright, Jason Spezza's going to be back soon, so he might play actually. Alright, and now we're playing in Pittsburgh. Obviously, I'm not going to look at their lineup. We just looked at it, and we are 1-0 obviously against them this season. Alright, so Ryan Miller in net for us, Josh Harding in net for Pittsburgh. Let's see if we can beat them again. And we won 42 again, so 2 42 wins. That's pretty good. We outshot Pittsburgh 42-28. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Brooks Arpik was the second star with an assist, and Marian Hossa was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Marian Hossa opened up the scoring in the first from Pavel Datsyuk, and then there was a fight between Daniel Carcillo and Zdeno Chara. Then in the second period, Mark Streit scored from Ryan Callahan and Mike Fisher. It was 2-0 Sens after 2. Then we took a 3-0 lead into the third period. Joe Thornton scored from Pavel Datsyuk and Marian Hossa, and then Pittsburgh scored, made it 3-1. We scored again. It was Joe Thornton again from Pavel Datsyuk. Then Pittsburgh scored again with 18 seconds left to go in the game, but it was too little too late. It was 4-2. Oh, we lose Andre Mazzaros to strained shoulder, out for 4 weeks. Yikes. Alright, so Andre Mazzaros is hurt for 4 weeks. I'm going to need to recall somebody. Sidney Crosby's point streak ended at 16 games. We stopped him in that one. That's pretty good. Alright, so Jason Spezza is back to playing center now. So we're going to go ahead and see what happens with that. Alright, so I do have to put Andre Mazzaros on the injured reserve. And now we're going to go ahead and find somebody to call back up. Alright. Actually, I think it's going to be Tim Gleason. There you go. Alright, and we are playing our next game in 6 days at home against the Red Wings. Alright, Spezza's almost recovered. Right, so Yaroslav Bednar is available. I'm not gonna pick him up. Strong night for David Krejci, who had 4 assists for Boston against Colorado. Pretty good game. Alright, and Spezza is completely recovered. That is good. Alright, Travis Roach has been put on waivers. Not picking him up. No suspension for Buffalo's Johnny Oduya. Not suspended. And good night for Mike Ribeiro in Montreal. He had a hat-trick against Buffalo in that same game. Alright, we are about to play the Detroit Red Wings, whom we are very familiar with because we seem to face them in the Stanley Cup Finals more often than not. Alright, so Detroit is 1-0 so far this season. We obviously have not played them so far. Let's take a look at their lineup here. Alright, no injuries, so that's the best team they can ice. So Jimmy Howard and Chris Osgood in net. Kevin Dahlman, Jonathan Eriksson, Nick Lidstrom, Steve Eminger, Jacob Kindle, Doug Janik, and Brian Pothier on D. That's decent. David Booth, Johan Franzen, Dean McCammon, Corey Silman, Ryan Clove, Valtteri Filppula, Dallas Drake, Thomas Kopechki, Darren Elm, Sean Matthias, Maxim Afinajanov, Daniel Alfredson, Yuri Adler, and Henrik Zetterberg. So it's a pretty decent team. Alright, so it's going to be Jimmy Howard in net, and we're going to Ryan Metter. Thank you, thank you. Please continue to do that. And we are back at home. We have a little home stretch here. And we won again, 3-2 this time against the Red Wings. So pretty well fought game. We outshot them, but 31-30, so it was pretty tight, really. Patrick Eves was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Jonathan Eriksson was the second star with an assist as well. And Mark Streit was the third star with an assist as well. We had 19,057 people in attendance for that game. Scott Niedermayer opened up the scoring in the first. It was short-handed from Sheldon Sorin and Patrick Eves. Then Detroit scored to tie the game at 1. And then Pavel Datsyuk scored on the power play from Marian Osa. It was 2-1 Sens after 1. And then nobody scored in the second period. And then we went into the third period. And Detroit tied the game at 2. But about 2 minutes later, Zdeno Chara scored from Chris Kelly and Mark Streit, and 3-2 was the final score. And Sheldon Souris is hurt. 1 to 2 weeks. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and put him on injured reserve as well. And we're gonna go to the farm team again. Alright, so one player that had a good camp or a good preseason was Brian Lee. So I guess I'm gonna recall him and give him a little something for playing well in preseason. Alright, so we have 4 more games at home before we hit the road for the rest of the month. Alright, so next game is in 6 days again. Wow, we don't play much. Actually, Phoenix hasn't even played a game yet. Well, they played now and they lost. A night to remember for Scott Hartnell, who had a hat trick against Chicago. Pretty good game. Tim Jackman is back from suspension with the Rangers. Sergei Gonchar in Toronto is suspended. He's going to miss a game. Sergei Gonchar wasn't really a dirty player when he was playing. Joe Sakic has recorded 600 goals in his career with a goal and an assist against Calgary. 39 years old, Joe Sakic, still a 2-star player. Dustin Brown in LA is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Great night for Jaromir Jagr, who had 3 goals and 2 assists against Philadelphia. Pretty good game. And Sidney Crosby in that same game had a goal and 6 assists. Wow. We might have kept him at bay pretty much with giving him just 1 point in 2 games, but he's making up the lost ground now. Alright, memorable game for Dan Amius with Nashville, who had a hat trick. Yeah, Dan Amius was never a super offensive defenseman, so that would be a pretty good game for him for sure. Alright, and we are about to play Phoenix finally, for real now. Alright, so Phoenix did play 3 games since I said that they didn't play any. They are 1-2 right now. Let's take a look at their lineup. No injuries, and they're running with only 21 people on their lineup. So in net, it's going to be Martin Biron and Nikolai Abibulin, Henrik Tallender, Shane Morrison, Jason Smith, Chris Allen, Semyonov, and Teppo Numminen on D. Again, it's pretty tough over there in Phoenix when your best defenseman is 40 years old. Shane Doan, Kevin Porter, Blake Wheeler, Chris Draper, Simon Gamache, Daniel Briere, Nokia Lane, and Zamnov. Oh, Saku Koivu is in Phoenix now. Pascal Dupuis, Daniel Winnick, Mikael Samuelson, and Frederick Schustrom. Interesting. Alright, so we are still playing at home, and Martin Biron is going to be in net for Phoenix. We are going to Brian Elliott for that one. And we won 6-1. We outshot Phoenix 45-22. Jason Spezza was the first star. He had 4 assists. Mark Streit was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brooks Laich was the third star with 2 assists. 16,613 people in attendance for this game. Joe Thornton opened up the scoring in the first period. It was already his 5th of the season from Patrick Eves and Brooks Like. It was 1-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Patrick Eves scored from Brooks Like and Jason Spezza. Then Mark Streit scored on the power play from Jason Spezza and Pavel Datsyuk. And Marian Hossa on the power play as well from Mark Streit and Alexander Radulov. It was 4-0 after 2. Then in the third period, Pavel Datsyuk scored from Jason Spezza. Then Phoenix scored, made it 5-1. And finally, Joe Thornton scored from Scott Niedermayer and Jason Spezza, 6-1. The final score. Quite a game in Ottawa. Night to remember for Jason Spezza. We were there. We saw the 4 assists. It was beautiful. Alright, and the very next day, we are hosting the Boston Bruins. San Jose's Carlo Kolayakovo is suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. A night to remember for Nikolai Antropov, who had 3 goals and an assist against the Rangers. We haven't seen much about Antropov so far in my sim. And Sergei Gonchar is back from suspension. Right, about to play the Bruins. They are 1-1-1. We're going to go ahead and take a look here at their lineup. Alright, so David Tanabe is hurt. He's not going to be playing this game. In net, it's still Yevgeny Nabokov and Tomas Vokoun. So Boston has been running with those 2 goaltenders for a little bit now. On D, it's John Michael Lyles, Brett Clark, Konstantin Kostov, Mark Stewart, Craig Rivet, Andre Benoit, and David Tanabe. Then Chris Neal, Andrew Murray, Brad Marchand, Frederick Modine, Josef Stumpel is still around. Patrice Bergeron, Nate Thompson, Olli Jokinen, Eric Christensen, Denis Zubrus, Connor Kessel, Krejci, and Glenn Murray. Alright, it's not a bad team. It's not great, but it's not a bad team. Alright, so playing at home again, Tomas Vokoun in net. We are going to Ryan Miller. And we are still undefeated. We have a 4-2 victory against the Bruins. We outshot Boston 32-24, and Jason Spezza was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Is that... What's his name? Chris Connor? Yeah, Chris Connor, okay. Sorry about that. And then Chris Connor was the second star. He had an assist. And Chris Kelly was the third star with 2 assists. 17,836 people in attendance for that game. Joe Thornton opened up the scoring in the first. It was a power play goal from Jason Spezza. And then Marian Hossa on the power play as well from Matt Unwick. And it was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Mark Streit scored on the power play as well from Jason Spezza and Chris Kelly. Then Boston scored, made it 3-1, and then Jason Spezza scored on the power play from Chris Kelly and Joe Thornton, 4-1 after 2. Boston scored in the third period, but it was too little too late. We won 4-2. All our goals were scored on the power play, so we made them pay for their discipline. And I've been calling Kirill Kostov Konstantin Kostov. I believe Konstantin Kostov was a forward. So it's Kirill Kostov. So that was my mistake. I am not perfect. Far from that. Henrik Zetterberg extends his assist streak to 8 games with 2 assists against the Rangers. Michael Ryder extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal and an assist against Florida. So we don't have Michael Ryder anymore. I've let him walk. I was not able to get anything interesting in a trade, so I just let him walk, and it appears that he signed with the Islanders. So, of course, the bulk of his 12-game streak with a point was done with us. Chicago's James Wisniewski was suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. Right, and Andre Mazzaros might be starting to practice soon, or skate, or something. Right, and in 3 days we are going to host the Florida Panthers, who are yet again struggling. Nothing new there. Oh, Pascal Leclerc is available on waivers. Oh wow, I'm surprised that Pascal Leclerc doesn't have more potential than that. I mean, he never really reached potential in real life, but he did have some potential. I would have expected to see at least a star and a half or 2 stars potential there. Now, whether he would have reached it or not, that's a different story. But I did expect to see him with some stars there. Sheldon Surrey ready for contact soon. That's good. Right, Sidney Crosby extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and 2 assists against Boston. Alright, Sheldon Surrey ahead of schedule. Sure. A night to remember for Derek Armstrong with the Thrashers. He had 4 assists against Tampa Bay. And in that same game, Ilya Kovalchuk had a hat-trick. Pretty good game all in all. Alright, so we're playing a team that's going in the complete opposite direction as we are. We are 5-0, they are 0-5. So the Panthers are struggling mightily. They are obviously dead last in the East with 0 points. Alright. And then they have Douglas Murray that's injured. Sergei Fyodorov is still suspended. And Andrew Hilbert is unfit. That's not good. Alright, so for the rest of the lineup, we have Jacob Markstrom and Jason LaBarbera in net. Boomister Garrison, Connor Murphy. Oh, I think we played them in preseason. Yeah. I remember that I saw Fyodorov there and everything. So we saw those guys. It seems like they're starting to develop an offense a little bit. The offense looks a little bit better than they used to be, but the D and the goaltending is still going to be a problem in Florida, I'm afraid. Alright, so Jacob Markstrom is going to be in net for Florida. We are going to Ryan Miller. And we actually lost this game 3-2. Aye. So Florida outshot us 26-24. Tim Connolly was the first star with a goal and an assist. Brooks Laich was the second star with a goal, and Ryan Kessler was the third star with an assist. 16,516 people in attendance to witness our first loss of the season. So Jason Spezza opened up the scoring in the first from Marianos and Pavel Datsyuk, and then Florida tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. There was a fight between Zdeno Chara and Tanner Glass. Then in the second period, Brooks Laich scored from Joe Thornton and Mark Streit, gave us a 2-1 lead, but then Florida scored 2 goals before the end of the period. It was 3-2 Florida going into the third period, where nobody was able to score, and 3-2 is our first loss of the season. Right, James Wisniewski is back from suspension. Dallas Drake has competed in 1,250 games in his career. So Dallas Drake didn't get a point. That happened against St. Louis. 39-year-old Dallas Drake, still a 2-star player. And in that same game, Nick Lidstrom got 1,200 points with a goal. So 38 years old, Nick Lidstrom, still a 3.5-star player, still pretty good. Henrik Zetterberg extends his assist streak to 9 games. In that same game, he had an assist. So a lot happened in that game between St. Louis and Detroit. And Sheldon Surrey should be back soon. Alright, so so Garth Murray, Chad Kilger, and Nolan Pratt are all available on waivers. Jerome McGinley has arrived at 1,000 games played with an assist against the New York Islanders. So 1,000 games for McGinley, 31 years old, 3.5-star player still. Wow. Michael Ryder's point streak ended at 12 games in that game against the Stars. Did not get a point. Alright, Sheldon Surrey is ready to come back, but can I get him back? No, he's gonna need to miss the game against Anaheim. He's gonna be back for the game in Toronto. So that's the last home game for October. After that, we have 3 straight away games before the end of the month. Alright, so the Anaheim Ducks are in town. They are 6-1, so they're doing really good. Let's look at their lineup. No injuries. That always helps to get a good record. Alright, so Brizgalov and Erzberg in net. Oh, we did play them in preseason too. I remember Kwiatek, Schmid. Yeah. Bobby Ryan. No, that's Michael Ryan. Bobby Ryan is right here. Alright, let's see what happens here. Decent team. So Ilya Brizgalov in net for them. Ryan Miller in net for us. And we won 41, so we stopped a pretty hot team. We outshot Anaheim 36-25. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Jason Spezza was the second star with 2 assists. And Zdeno Chara was the third star with an assist. 17,680 people in attendance for this game. And Anaheim actually scored first in that game. But then we scored 2 goals in 56 seconds with Marianosa scoring from Pavel Datsyuk and Jason Spezza. Then Joe Thornton from Brooks Lake and Patrick Eves. It was 2-1 after 1. The second period, we had Pavel Datsyuk score from Zdeno Chara and Jason Spezza. Then Chris Kelly from Mike Fisher. It was 4-1 after 2. And that was pretty much it. Zdeno Chara fought again, this time against Corey Perry. Wow, that must have been a pretty interesting fight. Corey Perry's a pretty big guy. Not Zdeno Chara big, because pretty much nobody is, but Henrik Zetterberg extends his assist streak to 10 games with an assist against Atlanta. Brian Smolinski played in his 1000th game. That happened against the Florida Panthers. He didn't get a point. Brian Smolinski, 36 years old. He is a 1-star player playing for San Jose now. Sergei Fedorov is finally not suspended anymore, so he might start to play some games for Florida. And Dawson Brown is also back from suspension in LA. Now we have Sheldon Surrey to put back in the lineup. And then we're going to send Brian Lee back down. Alrighty, we are about to play provincial rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto's 4-3, that's good for 9th in the East. We have not played them yet. Alright, so Sergei Gonchar is not playing, he's hurt. And then Jean-Sébastien Giguère and Ty Conklin in net, Adrian Aucoin, Skula, Bieksa, Cronwall, Luke Shen, Ian White, Nicholas Agman, Brad Boyce, Podikarovsky, Steen, Blake, Adam Hall, Tim Stapleton, Mike Comrie, Travis Zajac, Stefaniel, Nick Antropov, is it Rennie Bork? Yes. David Moss and Eric Cole. We should be able to beat them. Not too terrible. Right, Brian Elliott in net for us. Jean-Sébastien Giguère in net for Toronto. And we won 7-2. Pretty good game. We outshot Toronto 48-17. Jason Spezza was the first star. He had 3 goals and 2 assists. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 2 goals and 2 assists. And Marian Hossa was the third star with 3 assists. Alright, so Brooks Lake opened up the scoring in the first period from Joe Thornton and Mark Streit. And then Toronto tied the game. It was tied at 1. Then Pavel Datsyuk scored in the second period from Jason Spezza and Marian Hossa. Then Toronto tied the game again, so it was tied at 2 after 2, which means that it's in the third period that we opened up the scoring with 5 unanswered goals. So Nick Foligno scored his first NHL goal from Sheldon Surrey. Then Pavel Datsyuk scored his 5th from Mark Streit and Jason Spezza. And then Spezza got his hat-trick, which was a natural hat-trick with that. So the first one from Marian Hossa and Pavel Datsyuk, then from Marian Hossa and Pavel Datsyuk again, and then his 5th of the season, 3rd of the game on the power play from Mark Streit. 7-2, pretty good game. Yes, memorable night for Jason Spezza. He had 5 points. Alright, there are only 2 games left in October, so that's gonna be another short-ish video. I'm not sure what's going on with me lately. I guess I don't ramble on as much as I used to. Alright, so Henrik Zetterberg extends his assist streak to 11 games with 2 assists against Chicago. Thomas Plekanec extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against the Ducks. There was no stopping Vernon Fiddler, who had a hat-trick against the Kings. Good night for Jaromir Jagr, who had 4 assists against the Rangers. And that was 8 straight games with an assist for him. Suspension is over for Carlo Kolayakovo, back in the lineup in San Jose. Alright, and we are about to play in Buffalo against the Sabres. So Sabres are 5-3 this season, so that's okay. They are 6th in the East. Let's take a look at their lineup with Tim Thomas that got new pads, if I remember correctly. Alright, so it's Tim Thomas and Rob Zepp in net. Philippe Boucher, Johnny Oduya, Andrei Sekera, Vasiliev, Brian Campbell, Michael Rossovol, Tyler Myers, Eric Weinrich. Eric Weinrich is 41 years old. Nathan Gerby, Patrick Marleau, Clark MacArthur, Jared Smithson, Scotty Upshaw, Drew Stafford, Derek Roy, Tommy Santel, Travis Moen, Daniel Payet, Jason Pominville, Sawada. What was his first name again? Raymond Sawada, and Thomas Vanek. Yeah, that's an interesting team. For sure, there's definitely some talent on that team. Alright, so Brian Elliott is going to be in net for us, and Rob Zepp is going to be in net for Buffalo. And we won 3-0. Shout out for Brian Elliott. He stopped all of 10 shots. We got 42, Buffalo 10, of course. So Patrick Eaves was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Anton Volchenkov was the second star with an assist, and Mark Streit was the third star with a goal. Let's see here. Oh, wow. So not much was going on until the third period. Ryan Callahan scored from Chris Kelly and Patrick Eves, then Mark Streit from Patrick Eves and Marian Hossa, and finally Alexander Radulov from Anton Volchenkov and Martin Havlat. 3-0 the final score. Buffalo did not take a single penalty in this game. We took 3 minors. Right, strong night for John Michael Lyles. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Oilers. Wow. Corey Stillman has played in 1,000 games, celebrated with a goal against LA. 34 years old Corey Stillman, still a 3-star player. Henrik Zetterberg extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against the Kings in that same game. But his assist streak ended at 11 games because he only got the 1 goal. Alright, Jaromir Jagr extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist against the Sharks. Alright, Henrik Zetterberg extends his point streak to 13 games with a goal against Anaheim. John Madden has a memorable game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Toronto. Pretty good. Alright, and we are about to play against the one team that beat us this month, the Florida Panthers. So they are now 2-6. And they are dead last in the East with that record, but one of their 2 wins was against us. Let's see if we can beat them on their home ice. Brian Elliott is going to be in net for us, and Jason LaBarbera is going to be in net for Florida. We won that one 5-2. Alright, that looks a little bit better. We outshot. Wow, Florida has been able to prevent us from shooting quite a bit. We outshot them 25-21. Matt Stajan was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Alexander Radulov was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Zdeno Chara was the 3rd star with an assist. Right, so nobody scored in the first period. Then Florida scored first in the second. Then Mark Streit scored his 5th from Jason Spezza and Pavel Datsyuk. It was tied at 1 after 2. And then a lot of goals in the third. Matt Stajan scored from Anton Volchenkov and Alexander Radulov. Then Radulov from Matt Stajan. Radulov again from Matt Stajan again. Then Florida scored, made it 4-2. Then finally Patrick Eves scored from Zdeno Chara. It was 5-2, and that's the final score. That was also the final game for us in October. Ilya Kovalchuk has racked up 300 goals in his career with a goal against the New York Rangers, and he's only 25. A lot more goals coming from. Jaromir Jagr's assist streak ended at 9 games, did not get a point against the Phoenix Coyotes. Matt Carl in San Jose is hurt. He's going to miss 4 months with a torn calf muscle. And Henrik Zetterberg's point streak ended at 13 games. He was held pointless against the Sharks in that same game. Alright, so we have one more click to do before it's November 1st. Andre Mizaros is about to come back. Right, and then we have the development report. Alright, so the players of the month were Sidney Crosby and Pecorine. Which, that makes sense, I suppose. I'm not gonna be too upset about that. Alright, so we are atop the Eastern Conference with 18 points. So those losses that the Pittsburgh Penguins had against us really hurt them because they have 16 points. They're only 2 points behind us. Alright, and then if we look in the West, even though it's just the first month, We have Nashville, Anaheim, Vancouver, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, Calgary, and St. Louis. Ooh, Colorado is struggling, and Columbus is struggling as well. They were in the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago, and now they have only one win so far this season. Alright, let's take a look at our stats. Alright, so we have Jason Spezza, who has 16 points in 9 games. He didn't miss the first game of this season. Then Datsuk has 14 and 10. Mark Streit 12 and 10. Joe Thornton 12 and 10. Marinosa 12 and 10. And then it starts to dwindle down after that. Scott Niedermayer has only 2 points in 10 games. My sentimental pick is struggling a little bit. Alright. And now let's take a look in the league, see who is the best goal scorer so far. That would be Ilya Kovalchuk with 9 goals. Joe Thornton is second, tied with Jörgen Jönsson, wow, with 8. Jaromir Jagr is the best passer, he has 18 assists. Spezza is 4th with 11. And the best scorer are Sidney Crosby and Jaromir Jagr. They both have 24 points. Spezza is 5th with 16. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Looks like we're ready to wrap up here. So looks like November looks kind of balanced between away and home games, so there's not going to be a clear advantage or disadvantage with that. And we're going to go ahead and save the game, and that's done. So yeah, we're in pretty good position again, and hopefully we can stay atop of the conference like that. So I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.